was just an active and defending.
I think it's like.
People, deluded, I'm back again. As you can see above my head, Arsenal 2, Brighton 0, and we react after the disappointing defeat to Aston Villa in our last Premier League game. We get 3 points on the board in a condensed and congested fixture calendar month where the games ain't getting any easier for Arsenal, and we get revenge on Brighton for beating us at our place in this fixture last season, really. As we know, Brighton are a very technical club. They've got fantastic technical players. You know, De Zerbi in a nice way is a madman and a tinkerman, and they play exciting football and do all of those things. So we knew what we were stepping into. You know, they did play on Thursday and we played a couple of days before, so you're hoping that's an advantage, but nobody wants to play Brighton. As I said, they've got Matoma, they've got dangerous players. They can, you know, mix it up and go long. They can take advantage of set pieces, and we needed to rise to the occasion, and we couldn't accept anything less than a good performance today. And to be brutally honest, I don't think there's much to say. I think we did. I think the only criticisms I can say, if there is any, we should have scored about 7 or 10 in the first half, let alone getting 2 in the second half. And, you know, that's probably it. Like, we just need to convert chances, and we could have won by a more handsome scoreline. But other than that, I think man to a man, everything was good. You know, it took about 85 minutes for Brighton to really offer any sort of thing, anything close to a threat, where Pascal Gross probably should have bagged. I do think, like, I'm not saying Arsenal are the biggest, baddest team in the world and in the Prem, but it does feel like we're getting into that scenario where teams are a bit fearful of us and they're a bit respectful of us, because I did kind of feel this with Newcastle Newcastle away from home, sorry. And I don't think that game's alone in that. I felt that with Aston Villa, I felt that with Newcastle, and I felt that with Brighton, in that no one in the Prem wants to play these teams. You're expecting a close fight. They're going to throw punches. It's going to be a game that's a bit nervy. But I do think these teams have come out and kind of played second best, been a bit, not necessarily been negative, but been very respectful towards us, you know, kind of giving us the bulk of play. And we've kind of stifled them. And for the majority of the game, that was it, really. You know, I do think, you know, everybody started the game very well. I think the pressing, which has been missing for a while, was pressing together, pressing with intensity, winning the ball high up the pitch. Again, the only thing that was lacking was the taking clinical chances. I feel in the second half, Martinelli kind of did what he needed to do. But I think Kai Havertz, Martinelli, Zinchenko, they were kind of half in the game, half not. Jesus as well. I think in the early exchanges, it looked more like the goal was going to come down our right-hand side. Saka, I don't know how Milner never got booked for chopping Saka in two. But, you know, it looked like Saka was in the mood. It looked like Odegaard's my man of the match. He was really amazing. It's his birthday today. It can't be a birthday and you play poor. With this number of passes he was putting in behind, with the cute little twists and turns, with getting out of tight spaces and evading, you know, the opponent. Odegaard was a joy to watch today, man. Class region, like absolutely amazing, if I'm completely honest with you. Man of the match without a doubt. But as I said, we was doing well, and I was starting to feel, is it one of those games where even if we get one, we might not get two, or it's one where the ball's just not going to go in the back of the net? Because that's ultimately what kind of failed us against Aston Villa, in that we weren't converting these chances, really. And, you know, we'll be here all day. We had a barrage of chances. You know, Jesus had a couple, Kai had a couple. Kai even could have scored two because he had a header. Saka had a couple tame efforts. Martinelli's decision-making at times could have been better. Although today, when we put them under the caution, we was consistently putting in corners. I actually was impressed with Martinelli, because normally his corners are a bit hit and miss. I didn't want us to get in at halftime and not have scored, because De Zerbi's going to chat to them, have some conversations, and there'll be a bit of a resurgent sort of Brighton. I don't quite think that was the case. I think the second half we picked up where we left off. And in the second half, you just don't want our standards to drop. You just, you know the game, people are getting tired. Space is going to start to open up all over the field. So it's just about remaining professional. Like those of you that was part of my watch along, I said, you know what, we could have scored a lot more. We should have scored a lot more. But if you can't score, don't concede, in it. Like sometimes you just have to get the 1-0 and keep it moving. And as I said at the beginning, Brighton didn't really offer nothing, really. You know, for half time, I think they had no shots on target, no shots in general. And I have to give them credit, because they were still committed to playing out from the back, but they were second best across every department. Only when like 80 odd minutes into the game, where Pascal Gross should have really scored, I think Benjamin White got cooked. that was the only time we was anything close to fearful. And to be able to do that against Brighton, yeah, on another day it could have harmed us. And we need to probably, when we're dominating and on top of teams, probably get more goals and put the ball in the back of the net, because we should have scored about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 goals in the first half. A bit like to a degree the Sheffield United game, where the goals came in the second half. You know, looking at the ending stats, we obviously got 2 goals. Big up Gabriel Jesus. You know, it was a good little corner there. You know, you had the big men as the targets. Jesus snuck round the back. Lovely play from Odegaard, Trossard, even Eddie and Nketiah in the build-up for Kai Havertz's goal 3 minutes from the end of normal time. But yeah, we need to be a bit more clinical. But we had 26 shots, nine on target. We made it count. By the end of the game, which wasn't the case in the first half, they had 51% of the ball to 49%. They played 533 passes. We played 516. We had 10 corners. And ultimately, you know, we got a bit of change out of one because we found the back of the net. But ultimately, a good day at the office. As I said, the only improvements we could probably make is ultimately not even creating chances. It was just like against Aston Villa. It's a thing of converting them. Like, goals win games. We need to convert them. And, you know, especially when you smell blood. I know you can't score 3, 4, 5, 6 every game, but when you smell blood, like, we started very well. Like, the start was very good for my Phil Arsenal. And again, I go back to the pressing. You know, big up Brighton because they showed a willingness to keep playing out from the back, but we was pressing in numbers. I actually feel sorry for Brighton's Lewis Dunk because he put his balls on the line, put his head on the line, you know, got ripped a couple times from Martinelli and Jesus, but he had a really committed performance, really. But I don't think Brighton knew what hit them today. I think they was a bit nervous and respectful. I just think we were really up for it today, man. Like, we looked up for it from minute 0, and I think you need to be able to do that. I do think we managed the game. We never looked like we weren't not in control. You know, Brighton started, you know, even in the first half, I thought the first 10 minutes were strong. The game kind of settled and Brighton were having 1-2 bits of possession, but they're not really making anything count and taking advantage of that, really and truly. I mentioned the stats after the game, but at halftime, we had 15 shots, 3 on target, 48% to their 42% of possession. As I said, they had no shots and none on target. The game should have been put to bed because it's 0-0 at halftime. In some occasions, you know, we could have all of this and the other team go down the other end of the net and score. So, yeah, man, I ain't got no complaints. We just probably should have scored some more. Probably shouldn't, you know, should put the game to bed in the first half. Decision making at times maybe could have been better, but I think tactically Arteta did what he needed to do. I think the players individually were up for it. Man of the match for me, Odegaard was a man inspired today, class region, surely a level above everybody else. I think Brighton looked a bit more nervous than I thought. I feel, especially when we got the Jesus goal, because in the second half, they were starting to get caught a bit too frequently playing out from the back, and the build-up that led to the corner that ultimately kicked off things with Jesus scoring. I think De Zerbi will be disappointed with that. But we keep it moving, man. We all know we've got Liverpool coming up. We all know we lost to Aston Villa, so we're gonna have to do crud. And then so yeah, it's a big month of football. Like, we've got three games. We've got 3 games to end this, people, in the sense of we've got Liverpool away next, then we've got West Ham midweek on the 28th of December, and then we've got Fulham on the 31st. So let's try and end strong. But good day at the office. Happy with that. Now we can watch Liverpool Man United in peace. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and the rest of it. Safe.
You always use that active and defending.
I think it's like